All right, we're live. What is going on, Facebook? Don't have our weekly podcast guest scheduled just yet, so I wanted to continue in the spirit of remaining consistent with cranking out content. Got the whole set, whatnot here that I seem to be all right with. Want to talk? I've been talking to a lot of individuals. In fact, I've got a meeting in about 20 minutes with a good friend of mine that I've been doing some personal development coaching with. I'm not coaching her; she's coaching me rather. And in addition to that, I'm helping her create her brand around what she does. I've been having this conversation a lot with individuals lately for the simple fact that we are living in a day and age where it is completely socially acceptable to be able to build a brand, have a side gig, and have a full-time big girl, big boy job. Meaning you can have a 9 to 5 and it's not a conflict of interest. Sometimes it could be if it's along the same lines, but usually it's not. I like to use a great example of my friend, the one and only Mr. Chris Van Vlie, entertainment reporter for Deco Drive. For those of you local to Miami, know exactly who Deco Drive is. For those of you not, it is a show that's been 22 years in the running on a Fox affiliate down here, Channel 7, called Deco Drive, featuring all the entertainment / things to do, exciting things happening, celebrities, new movies, etc. Here in the Miami area. He's been able to successfully build his brand for a fishing product that he has called Woo Tungsten, where he'll conveniently say woo, and he'll go, in any direction with that. And I might have done a failed version of that, but in any event, he set up an Instagram account for Woo Tungsten, which is essentially just a fishing kit that attaches to your existing bass fishing gear. I don't know, it's like a lure and whatnot. I'm not a bass fisherman, nor would I claim to be a fisherman, but I think you pick up what I'm putting down. In any event, there's clearly a huge community out there. This is a great example. Let me back up real quick. So you've got an idea, you've got something you're passionate about, you want to start talking about it. You haven't done so because you think that there's no one out there that wants to hear or see or consume your content. Now that is 1,000% complete BS. That's a story and a reel that's running in only your head that you know about. There is in fact an audience out there to consume exactly what you want to, what you're passionate about, what you're excited about, if you will. For example, Chris Van Vlie. That's French, by the way. You can look him up on Instagram. It's at Chris Van Vlie. Of course, it's not rolling off my tongue as it should. Pronouncing names is my job. I should be able to do just that. But for example, Chris has been able to simultaneously build his Woo Tungsten brand and his personal brand. Now, his Woo Tungsten brand is kind of associated with his personal brand, but they've been able to build a following of almost 100,000 followers on Instagram just by engaging their community, right? So if you don't think, if you're into bass fishing and you create a bass fisherman or fisherman's product, you're going to want to find a way to engage those people instead of just trying to sell the product to them. What's the best way to do it? Get them to post a fish of the day. Maybe they caught the fish using your product, and that's exactly what they've done over at Woo Tungsten on their Instagram account, grown over to over 100,000 followers. Go check them out. It's W-U. I'm spelling and sounding out at the same time. Here, let me pull this up so I can type a link in here, and you can check this out. Woo Tungsten, WOOTUNGSTN. Here, I'm going to drop a link right here. For those of you listening to the podcast, all this information is going to be in the show notes, so you'll be able to go and follow them. You probably already went over to the gram and are following Woo Tungsten and Chris already. Let me drop this in here. I can spell today. Instagram.com. Of course, it's Woo Tungsten. That's a toughie. That and Chris Van Vlie. Gee, made Christmas. All right, and here's Chris's. We'll tag him. See if he may be fishing right now. So he doesn't start work until 7 p.m. He could very well be fishing and using one of his Woo Tungsten products. So in addition to the Woo Tungsten product that they've had a raving success with, he's like mind blown with the success they've had. He also is a pro wrestling fan and has a unique opportunity of being able, a man in his position, being the entertainment reporter for Deco Drive, is able to book some really cool interviews and do some really cool stuff. In addition to that, tap into the professional world of wrestling, in which that's what his YouTube channel is all about. And that is, I'm going to drop a link for that too. And that's where Chris gets on, and that's a whole nother world. So we've got bass fishermen in one genre that is just exploding with content and engagement. It's a huge community that's interested in cool, interesting content. And then you've got the world of professional wrestling, which I've personally never understood, but I used to work for Hulk Hogan. I worked in a restaurant that his ex-wife had, and I also washed all of his cars, and he gave me a ride home one day. So that's my pro wrestling story. But Chris is very much involved with the community. In fact, they did a local professional wrestling event locally here, and I believe he was the ring MC. Anyway, it's great to have connected with Chris. We connected through the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce. We were on a panel together discussing Instagram and Facebook and content and how things operate and how brands can tell their story. So if you think that you've got something that you're excited about, but people are not going to be excited about it if you produce the content, I just want to be explicitly clear that is completely false. Okay, so don't believe the stories that you write in your own head. Remember, we are interpretation machines, which means we make shit up constantly, right? It's on automatic. So we've got to be careful what we feed that, because we're constantly coming up with things, and it's very important to put them through that filter of, did this really happen, or is this something that I'm making up? Same applies with your content. So if you want to build a brand, figure out what you're passionate about first and foremost. You're going to say, I don't know what that is. I think you do know what that is. That's when you wake up in the morning and your feet hit the floor and you get that feeling in your gut a little bit and you go, yeah, I want to do that. If I could just do that forever, I'd be stoked. And I don't want to say that tapping into this is tapping into happiness forever, but it surely is kicking a door of happiness open that we all desire. Why? Because building a brand, I associate the word brand with freedom. Right? If I run my own brand, if I create my own brand, I've got freedom to be able to control exactly how I want things to unfold. I get to tell a story based on what my story is, based on what I'm passionate about and how it all came to be. Step number one, find your passion. It doesn't just show up. Sometimes it comes in the most inopportune times, like 2 o'clock in the morning, it wakes you up. It's a good idea to keep a notepad or a Post-it or something right next to your bed, because if you do wake up in the middle of the night for some water or to run to the bathroom real quick, you can jot down some of those ideas. It helps do that, and your subconscious just goes to work while you go back to sleep, or maybe you don't go back to sleep. You just stay up and continue to conceptualize ideas. But find out what you're passionate about, and then the next step is to create a name around what that would be. Okay? I'm passionate about podcasts and storytelling and creating content. When I launched the Podcast Launch Lab last year, I wanted it to tell, I wanted the name to read what the desired outcome was. The desired outcome of the Podcast Launch Lab is to take a brand from zero to launched within a specific amount of time. So when figuring out what you want to call your brand, figure out something that resonates with you, number one. But more important, it's attached to what the outcome of your brand is, right? If you are passionate about keeping our oceans clean, and you want to start a brand that creates content about innovative, creative, easy things to do to corral community together, to do beach cleanups and really care about the environment, you're probably going to want to come up with something that pertains to the ocean, the environment, the beach, something that resonates with people, where they go, yeah, I want to be a part of that. Because remember, when people are reading specific things and trying to resonate with your brand, they have to associate something and they have to feel something. So number one, find out what you're passionate about. Number two, create a name around that. And I don't want to get too complicated. I'm going to give you one more tip. There's far more involved with launching a brand, but I'm just going to give you 3 tips today. Number one, figure out what you're passionate about. When you wake up in the morning and you get that feeling in your gut and you go, yeah, I want to do that. And if I could just do that, I would be stoked. Figure that out. Number 2, come up with a name. And number 3, create something. As soon as you've got a name, you can put together a logo. You can go to Canva. You can create your own logo. You can, coming soon, whatever it may be. But once you've got that, go create something about it. If I was creating a brand today, which I launch a lot of brands for different individuals, in addition to what we do in-house here. But the very first thing that I do once I've created a name, locked down a logo or some sort of digital collateral that I can go and visually talk about, what I'll do is I'll go live on Facebook, or I'll crank out a podcast episode, and then I'll take the replay of the live video and I'll put it on YouTube, and I'll take the embedded code and I'll put it on a blog post on SebastianRuss.com or on SocialBuzzTV, and I'll get a blog post, and I'll get a podcast episode, a live video, and an archive. You'll get like 4 pieces of content out of me spending 30 minutes to go live to enroll people in the new brand that I'm launching. Because it's really about it, and life is about enrollment. We're constantly enrolling someone, or we're being enrolled somewhere. This day and age, because people's bullshit radar is so high, you've got to be very, very transparent and very, very authentic with your approach pertaining to what you do. People have to find a something to resonate with, something that tugs on their heartstring and makes them feel a specific way. My buddy Bruce Turkel says a good brand makes you feel good. A great brand makes people feel good about themselves. And then my second favorite quote about branding is from Simon Sinek, a brilliant mind. If you don't follow Simon, you should. In which he says, people don't care what you do; they care why you do it. And I believe that to my core. As far as belief systems are concerned when creating brands and developing systems, etc. So if you've been thinking about launching a brand, if you've been conceptualizing, I mean, I've seen some really, really cool content being cranked out as of late. A few of my friends locally here are really going all in. They've already been marketing and PR peeps for quite some time, but really going all in with their personal blog and lifestyle blog. People really, listen, we love a good recipe. We love a good life hack. We love a good opportunity to be able to find out how to just get that one up on life and eat better and sleep better and communicate better and travel better and work better and stay away from our phones better. We want all of these things, and these things come in the form of content through individuals that are brave enough to create their own brand and really, go out on the branch, way out on the branch. That's where the fruit's at, they say, right? But I think we get in our way. We start telling this story of all, Tony Robbins says what's wrong is always available, and so is what is right. So focus on what is right. Focus on what's available pertaining to what is right. Listen, you may be watching this right now and your mind's just racing. You got all these crazy ideas, and that's really the goal of me going live here and just rambling on for some 13, 14 minutes here, is to shift your mindset and tell you to wake up, because there are people out there that want to consume your content. And if you create a brand and start creating content around that brand as well as a community, the next step in the equation is cue the cash register sound, cha-ching. It's time to monetize that brand. Think about a year from now, if you launch your brand right now, even if you started as a side gig. I know a lot of people running side gigs right now, doing both. I got some dear friends that are doing, I just mentioned Chris as a phenomenal example, full-time job as an entertainment reporter. Works a full 40, 45, 50 hours a week, comes home, and he said, Sebastian, I can't sleep. I just dig right into my brand, and I'm constantly engaged, specifically with the community. People are posting pictures of bass, fish, and whatnot. He's constantly on there, keeping up with the Instagram algorithm. Well, what does that mean? Well, Chris informed me, and I just, when you think you know a lot, you realize that you don't know anything. Chris informed me that if in order to be picked up in the Instagram algorithm as a user and get a lot of likes and engagement on your content, you need to be engaging on the content that's on Instagram. For instance, you need to be liking, on average, tap, tap, double tap. We're probably already doing it subconsciously anyhow, about 500 pictures per day, right? So we're never more than 3.5 feet away from our phone. We're constantly connected. We wake up with our phone. We go to sleep with our phone. We go to the restroom with our phone. We go to meetings with our phone. We go on vacation with our phone. We go on cruises with our phone. They don't even work. So use it to your advantage. If you've got a brand, you definitely need to be on Facebook and Instagram as a brand, contingent upon what your brand and product service is all about. So to recap, I got to run to this branding meeting right now. How about that? Recap, find out what you're passionate about, create a name, Once you got a name, create some collateral around that, an image, a logo. Go to Fiverr.com, get a logo done for $5, $10. Go to freelancer.com. You get to figure this out, this whole branding thing. You already want to do it. It's already in you. You're already excited about it. We get in our own way on executing. You just got to dive right in. Just like this live video that I'm doing right now. I had about 20 minutes before my 2 o'clock. And I thought, if there's no better time than right now. If I don't just stop right now and just go live, cool. We can see my social media suck sign in the back. Big shout out to my girl, Sue B. Zimmerman. Speaking of Instagram, the Instagram queen. And I got enough of a backdrop here to go live. And it doesn't look that HD to me, but I know I have an HD camera, so I'm sure it's communicating good. Now, once this is done, I've got a good 16 minutes of content. I've got a Facebook Live video I'll share on SocialBuzzTV, Social Buzz on Air, the Podcast Launch Lab, my personal business page. And then I'll also download the video and upload it to YouTube. I'll take the embedded code, create a blog post for SebastianRuss.com and crank out like 5 pieces of content. Oh, and I'll take the embedded code and I'll upload it to LinkedIn too. LinkedIn video, crazy and great engagement lately. Why? Because they want to compete. They want to get in the game. So go write a post on Instagram. Go start a brand. Go do something pertaining to what you're passionate about. And once you create that brand, start creating content around it. We'll continue to do these random Facebook Lives because I want to provide as much. Everything I got up here, I want to get it out. I gotta tell you everything you need to know, everything that you don't know about launching a brand. I've done it over the past 8.5 years, and I'm just getting started. But the proof of the pudding is in the pudding, right? Don't take advice from people that haven't built anything. Take advice from people that have actually done something and you've consumed their content and you know what works and what doesn't work. So you guys get back to your awesome Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to either watch the Facebook Live. Maybe you're watching this on YouTube 2 years from now. Maybe you're listening to this on the podcast. I don't know, a week and a half from now. Either way, thanks so much for tuning in. And I'm Sebastian Ruska signing off from our studio here in a beautiful Miami, Florida. We'll talk to you guys next time.